Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is We Live Age of the Palladions, black, and We Live Age of Palladions, white. Dual issues, the second volume of the We Live saga. For those who have been watching our videos and watching the reviews, you know how much I love We Live. It's a fantastic series. The first volume, I think, is absolutely amazing and ended with one of the, I think, the best twists of comics of last year. Just totally did not see that coming. And for those who have not read that volume and maybe don't want to be spoiled, maybe you're going to want to skip this review and go read that first volume first. So, second volume started, we get two comics out of it, which is kind of interesting for the first issue. One's black, one white. And they're two different stories. This is kind of... one I feel like is the main story, and one is kind of feels like a side quest in some ways. We're going to do a review for each of them, two different videos, because they really are two different beasts when it comes to everything. So we're going to do black with this one, start off with that, what I think is the main series, written by Inaki Miranda and Roy Miranda. Inaki Miranda is the artist, Eva De La Cruz is the colorist, Dave Sharpe is the letterer. Alright, so this series continues the adventures of Hototo and Tala. Hototo is now kind of, a superhero? Kind of Ultraman-ish, taking on the big, giant, nasty kaiju. Tala is part of kind of the defense force that exists. So the situation is the beasts have gotten worse and are threatening mankind. It's no longer that the complete destruction of mankind is on humankind is on the board. Instead, they're just kind of dealing with these stronger and stronger beasts. This is basically Pacific Rim. It is Pacific Rim meets Ultraman. Yes, I know Ultraman fights big giant monsters, but it's humanity behind like a wall, in this case like an energy shield. They've, instead of big giant kaiju, they've got these superheroes flying around, beat up monsters. The energy shield, the wall kind of is failing. Things are threatened. People don't know what to do in their cities. It's Pacific Rim. And there's nothing wrong with that. It works and works really, really well. For me, though, I have to say, is like, if you haven't read the first volume of the series, the second one might not quite click as much. The other thing is there's a lot of talk of, like, energy shields and cutting cables and all sorts of kind of, like, jargon that you really have to dial in on and focus on to kind of get the issue. It's a little bit more muddled than the first volume, and I think it's because it's a bit more of a complicated story, if that makes sense. And when I discuss white, it kind of makes sense a bit more as to why this is a complicated story. This one has more to deal with the superheroes, and especially Hototo, as how he's dealing with his role in protecting everyone. The thing that I think really loved about the first volume of We Live is that, you know, it's all about heart. It was really about this relationship between this brother and sister, and the sister knowing that she's going to have to leave her brother and let him escape, not knowing what the future holds. She was basically guiding him to his salvation and her death. And it was touching. It was really touching. I think there was almost every single issue of that series I was choking up and, like, on the verge of tears, if not actually crying. And I am man enough to admit that. This one doesn't quite have the heart, I think, as the first volume. However, that opening, like, definitely had me choking up. I had some pause there. And it definitely hit me. I mean, I've got a young daughter. It's, you know, to see this brother and sister interact, you know, there's definitely something there, and it gets you. So it's an interesting comic. I don't think it's maybe quite as strong as the first volume. It's definitely a different direction. While there's a lot of things that are very similar story-wise, thematically, it's not quite the same. It's definitely the next chapter, and kind of feels like, you know, you fast-forwarded a bunch of years, but you really didn't. So yeah, I mean, it's if you really, really loved the first volume, I think you're going to dig the second one. I'm enjoying it. I'm also a big Pacific Rim fan, so I'm kind of digging to see where this all goes. The art continues to be amazing. I'm going to not show the opening. The art continues to be amazing. It's always been something that has been top-notch about this series. Like, that's not even a debate. It's just really, really cool visually. Some of the visuals here are a little bit more muddy, but I will say that there's some great stuff when it comes to layouts and just pages as a whole. Some really, really cool stuff. And the comic continues to have some interesting backup stuff as well, some bonus material. Overall, like, again, if you kind of like what I've been describing, go for it. This is definitely not quite as good as the first volume, but it's still really solid stuff, and I'm excited to see further issues and where the series goes, and maybe we'll get a volume 3, who knows. Out in comic shops now, you can go get it. We get a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code, tell comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have some links where you can purchase. There'll be affiliate links, so you do get a small percentage by doing that to support our site, so thank you. And speaking of support, I want to thank AfterShock for hooking us up with the review copy, and of course, thank you all for watching. If you are into comics, if you're into AfterShock, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.